Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Shreshtam Manamapi Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurapurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhava Samprapto Yasya Pratita Kritaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Atafpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. I have something very important to say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That's the most important thing. Chant Hare Krishna at the time of death and you go to Krishna. So therefore we should practice chanting Hare Krishna throughout life. Otherwise we might end up like the parrot, as Srila Prabhupada explained, that a parrot was trained to chant Hare Krishna. Oh, but the point we should chant with feeling, calling to Krishna, yes. So the parrot is trained to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was good at imitating all kinds of noises. But when the cat came to catch the parrot said, ah, ah, ah. And maybe went to loka, we don't know. So we have to chant with, practice chanting and with feeling. Feeling can be practiced, but it is evoked. That means brought out. But feelings are naturally evoked because Krishna is naturally attractive. So if we come in contact with Krishna, we naturally feel attracted to Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Shabda Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koreye Odai. Feelings for Krishna, love for Krishna is dormant within the heart of every living being. And those dormant feelings are awakened or evoked by the process of devotional service, beginning with hearing about Krishna. So we should try to come in contact with Krishna. Even the example is given that even by lust or greed, if we come in contact with Krishna, that will benefit us. Or even by anger. The example of kama, lust, is given in the Bhagavatam as the gopis. That is, of course, transcendental desire. But there is the example also of Kubja, whose attraction to Krishna appears to have been largely upon seeing Krishna with mundane lust. So one of Krishna's names Srila Prabhupada gave to one of his disciples is Kubja Kripamai, who's full of mercy upon Kubja. In anger, so many demons approached Krishna, but they were also delivered, at least from their immediate material condition. A mixture of desire and anger is found in the personality of Shurpanaka, who went to complain to Ravana about being disfigured by Lakshman. And she described to Ravana that Rama, he's so beautiful and what a personality, what a character. But she still wanted to cause him harm. Out of greed, one can approach Krishna. We have the example, there are many examples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his childhood was decorated with many valuable ornaments. And some thieves kidnapped him, put him on the shoulders of one of them and ran away with him with the idea of stealing all his ornaments. After running round and round for some time, by the power of Lord Chaitanya's Maya, they came back to his house. And everyone there was in great anxiety. Oh, what happened to our Nimai? They were afraid and they quickly put him down and ran away. And all the people said, see, they're such good people. They brought our boy back and they didn't even want to stay and be welcomed for doing so. They had meditated upon him and carried him on their shoulder. Similarly, Lord Nityananda, a group of thieves, they were planning how to steal all his jewels. And made all that, very carefully made all their plans. That means they were meditating deeply on the beautiful form of Lord Nityananda. But their plan went all wrong. On the night they went to attack his residence. Tremendous storm came up and they fell in the thorn bushes and they just got completely frustrated. And they tried again, another night, and similar result. And then they understood, by meditating on him so much, they understood they should surrender at his lotus feet. So even for a wrong motive, if we approach Krishna, we are benefited. But those who approach him in love, they can very quickly be reciprocated with love by him. Ye yatamang prapadyante tangs tathaiva bhajame aham. Krishna says, as people relate to me, I relate to them. Different kinds of people come to Krishna. Artho jignasur artharti gyani cha bharatarshava. 4 kinds of pious people approach Krishna. The distressed, those who want money, those who are curious, and those who from the outset accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says about these udara sarva evaite gyani tvatmaiva mematam. These are all good people, Krishna says, but the gyani, one who from the beginning accepts me as the Supreme, I accept him as my very self. We may be purified by approaching Krishna with any motive, but when we come to the point of that we understand Krishna is supreme, I just want to serve him, then Krishna reciprocates with love. So the important thing I have to say is Hare Krishna, that also we have so many things to discuss about Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna in love. Do we know what love is? We have some idea. Otherwise we couldn't use the word at all. I don't know about in your language, but we say in English, apart from saying I love my wife, I love my children, we also say I love ice cream, I love chocolates. The word is also used in that sense. Apart from an emotional exchange, it's also used in the sense of something that you desire very much for sensual gratification. Is it used in Russian like that? Also. You just see how they mixed up. Do we really know what love is? There are some people who really don't know what love is on any level. They are called demons or asuras in Vedic language, who have no feelings for others. They may be called, for instance, one breed of such asuras, as analyzed in modern psychology, is the psychopath, who might even make a show of caring for others. But it's all calculated for what they perceive to be their own self-interest. And they really don't care how much suffering they cause, even to many, many people, if it furthers their own ends, what they consider to be their own ambitions. They might even take pleasure in others' suffering. But most people have some concept of what love is. I suspect that those who are sociopaths, because they were deprived of any love from the beginning of their life, then they try to recompense for that by power and control and nastiness. So the most important thing in everyone's life is love. That was a major theme of the hippies, which never happened in this country. Most of Srila Prabhupada's disciples came from the ranks of the hippies, not all of them. And they believed in love. Love, 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 all you need is love, love is all you need. Any English speaker anyone from what's called the Anglosphere of my age would recognize this song. That's mentioned in the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, that Srila Prabhupada came to the west coast of America just at the time of what was called the Summer of Love, in which hippies from all over North America migrated en masse to San Francisco. If you ever go to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. So it was an idealistic and probably very naive idea that we'll all live in love and peace and everything will be wonderful. It didn't last long because they had no clear idea of love. They equated love largely with free sex. And the whole hippie dream collapsed in drug abuse and ultimately squalor, decadence, and ultimately violence. But a few of the fortunate hippies recognized that Srila Prabhupada had brought real love. Please read The Nectar of Devotion, one of Srila Prabhupada's first published books. In the introduction, he states that everyone is looking for love, but they don't know where to place their love. Krishna is the proper receptacle or the proper person to offer our love to. Krishna is the perfect lover, perfect child, the perfect friend, and even if we want Krishna as a son, we can have Krishna as a son, and the perfect master for everyone. So chanting Hare Krishna in love, any way that we chant will be to our benefit. We don't know how much benefit, we can't measure how much benefit there is for the people when we go out in the streets and chant the holy names. They'll wave and they maybe start dancing in a funny way with us, and they take it as some kind of unusual entertainment. That's one kind of appreciation at some level. They're hearing the holy names of Krishna. And there may be also some persons, some authorities who don't like it very much. And in their meetings they're saying, how are we going to stop that Hare Krishna? They're also chanting Hare Krishna and thinking of Krishna. It's all beneficial. And there's a great tidal wave. You don't have tidal waves here. You're a long way from the sea. Great tidal wave of love of Krishna, which Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he brought that to Bengal, and Srila Prabhupada brought it all over the world. So we can try to ride that wave. Let us be carried away in that wave of love of Krishna. Dubilo bhaktajan dino hino bhasha. Those who, the devotees, they happily drowned in the ocean of love of God that Nityananda Prabhu brought. There were certain persons who were determined not to get love of God. So we can expect there will always be some opposition. Let's all get involved in Lord Nityananda's mercy mission, Srila Prabhupada's mercy mission. Something wonderful is going on all over the world. We may become so used to it that we think it's just normal. Yeah, we go to the temple and we chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, same every week. Chanting the holy names, the opportunity to chant the holy names in Sankirtan is so rare and so wonderful that even the demigods in the higher planets want to take part in that. Which is why I encourage young Grihastha devotees, as far as possible, to have plenty of children. That's one service, making devotees. There are plenty of demigods up there waiting to come down here. I'm fed up dancing with these apsaras. I don't want to go and chant Hare Krishna. There's a queue. Who's in the queue? Prabhupada said that. He said the demigods are queuing up to take birth in this moment. So having come here and got this opportunity, let us take advantage of it to share in spreading the mercy mission of Lord Chaitanya. During the last few days, I've been taking many questions and attempting to answer them. And many questions about devotees' personal advancement in Krishna consciousness, which is very good. Shows that devotees are very serious about advancing in Krishna consciousness. But with my usual critical spirit, I noticed that it didn't seem to be much about how we're spreading the movement and the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're not just a church, we are a mission. We're meant for spreading Krishna consciousness to every heart in the world. It's a huge mission. It's impossible. But by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, the impossible becomes possible. It was impossible that anyone outside of India, any non-Hindu, could take to chanting Hare Krishna. Now it's taken as just completely normal. So the shopkeepers in Navadvip, they all learn a little Russian. It's good for their business. Have you seen? I don't know, because I don't go shopping in Navadvip, but I could guess it. This is the way to make personal advancement and to have a great life. Earlier this day I was speaking to a young man who's been raised in Krishna consciousness, and like any thoughtful young man in his late teens, he's thinking, well, now what do I do with my life? Of course, if you're only 1.2 meters tall, you're not likely to become a basketball champion. So we should be realistic about our aspirations. Yesterday someone asked me, am I happy? And truthfully, if I look back at my life, it's not over yet, but yeah, it's been happier than most people, I would say. And I know you all look at me as some great exalted personality, and in one sense, yeah, by Krishna's grace, by Prabhupada's grace, could be seen like that. But as a confused, directionless teenager, I joined this movement, and a very small devotee, or not even a devotee, but a very small member in this movement, and somehow by default I happen to be considered some kind of leader now. But I can say that the inspiration, a constant inspiration I get, one major source of that is being part of a great mission to bring the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu everywhere. There's so much work to do all over the world. Srila Prabhupada worked very hard. As I said yesterday, it wasn't just abracadabra that the movement spread so widely, so quickly. He worked very hard, and he pushed his disciples to work hard. And they did impossible things. Nowadays I hear about, during the marathon, a book distribution marathon, devotees, they go out, instead of going out 4 hours a day, they go out 6 hours a day for book distribution. But when I was a young man, 6 hours, that's not enough for an ordinary day. Marathon means at least 12 hours, day after day after day, distributing books. It was, in some ways you could say it was not very wise, some of the things we did. How we pushed our bodies so that now we're feeling the effects of that, the adverse effects of that in older age. But if we ask any devotee from those days, even if they're not very seriously or as seriously practicing Krishna consciousness as they used to, they'll all agree that those times when they really sacrificed and really gave themselves and really pushed themselves for spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya, that was the best time of their life. So whether you're a young person with with a life ahead of you, of course there's no guarantee. What is that? Nishvasu naiva vishvaso kadarudho bhavishyati. We can't trust our breath. You can't trust our breath. If we breathe in, there's no guarantee we're going to breathe out again. Or when you breathe out, there's no guarantee you're going to breathe in again. In other words, at any time, death can come. But generally, like young people, it's wise for them to look ahead at their life and try to get some idea of their direction. But whatever time we have left, let us add to our Krishna conscious practice. Let us see what we can do to help others come to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Important thing I have to say, Hare Krishna. I was just in Dubai before coming here, and His Holiness Kavichandra Swami was there. I don't think he came to Russia, maybe he did. No. He preaches in Africa, Thailand, and all kinds of difficult spots. So during the course of one of his talks there, he said that one of our godbrothers, he has a habit of going out on the streets of America with little cards with the Hare Krishna mantra printed on them. And he goes up to people and says, "Can you please do one thing for me? What? He shows them the card and he says, please say this. Say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. And he says, thank you so much. And he becomes very happy and they become very happy. So Srila Prabhupada said, anyone can do that. That is preaching. He took it seriously. You can just approach people and ask them to chant Hare Krishna, and that is preaching. So he goes out and does that every day, and he must have met thousands and thousands of people who have chanted the Hare Krishna mantra because of him. Their human life is not wasted. On the contrary, they have done something which will save them from so much suffering, bring them closer to Krishna. So that devotee in his old age, he could have done so many other things, but he decided to take that instruction of Srila Prabhupada very seriously. So he just goes out and asks people to chant Hare Krishna. So everyone, everywhere, according to their capacity, can take part in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission. And if you're young, and you have energy and intelligence, then you can get into the slipstream. Now that is from aeronautics. That means you can go fast. If you have the strength, you can ride the big waves. That takes strength and courage. Strength, spiritual strength. That comes from faith, application. Ultimately, what do you want to do with your life? Everyone is looking for, I was going to say love. Love means Krishna. So without that, everything else is useless. There's so many rich people who are miserable. There's so many successful people who are miserable. There's so many unknown devotees, unknown to the big, wide world, who are blissful, experiencing and distributing Krishna's love. Pure love of Krishna is very high, very rare. But even a fraction, a tiny fraction of that is so much better than anything else going on in this world. This morning, some of us went for a swim in the holy river, Volga. It probably was considered a holy river before the Christians came. Because in pre-Christian cultures, people were more developed spiritually. And they recognized that spirit is everywhere and in everything. So we were there and we were enjoying ourselves, swimming and chanting Hare Krishna. And all the other people were there being happy, but they weren't happy. They came there to be happy, obviously, but they weren't happy. And we were there, and we were doing the same thing. We were swimming around, and we were chanting Hare Krishna, and we were happy, because Krishna makes us happy. What's that? I can't see it. It's upside down. Which verse?
Bhagavad Gita 2:19 and 2:20.
What's that? Yaveti, Yaenam Veti Antaram, Yaschinam Anyate Matam. The way you say it, you should pronounce a little slowly and clearly. Oponto nabijana ti nainam hanti nahanyate. Next verse. Najayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhudva bhavita vanabhuya ajo nityo shashvata. difficult for you to get the right pronunciation.
Yeah.
Threw me off a bit. Why did you want to do that one? Are you thinking of killing people or?
Почему вы именно эти стихи решили сделать
Because the
татуировку?
first verse talks about killing. That was
Ну,
well, that was specific to Arjuna. That doesn't apply to everyone. The Najayate Mriyate, that applies to everyone. But the one about killing, that's specific to Kshatriyas and to Arjuna. You want to read the translation? No, I'm just curious.
No, I never thought about killing anybody.
I'm just wondering why you had that verse.
Просто мне интересно, почему именно этот стих. Just a random choice.
He's young. The Najayate verse that should be meditated upon. We are all eternal. But the message in the other verse, the verse prior to that, that's also that gives us the sense of not ultimately being agents. That's one sense. And another thing is it's stressing the immortality of the soul. All right, Hare Krishna. Any questions?
What can we do in order to make preaching more widely spread?
Well, you can do it yourself as much as you can. Group effort is a force multiplier. Do you know that term, force multiplier? That means, he's looking it up. That means if you have disparate individuals doing something...
Like synergy.
Like synergy, yeah. If you have disparate individuals doing something, they all have their individual effect. But if they come together as a team, then the result of them working together as a team is more than the added up result of them working as individuals. Not exactly synergy, although it's a related concept. What did he say? He's looking it up. Looking it up? Force multiplier? No, actually the dictionary definitions are often very useful because they're just exact and to the point. So anyway, the point is that working together it has more effect, as you were mentioning to me as we were coming in the car, about the importance of cooperation. Srila Prabhupada gave the example that you can break one stick, break another stick, break another stick, break another stick. Individual sticks are easy to break. But if they're bundled up, you can't break them. So it's a group effort.
Can I ask
you have a question?
Yeah. I was just wondering, because I first came to this temple 15 years ago, and I see now as many people as were there. Some people left, others came.
Yeah.
I always think about dynamics. When you are here for 20 years like that, you think...
It should be much increased.
Yes, where are we going? What is actually happening now?
Say it. Well, as far as I know, the number of people who've taken to Krishna consciousness has increased in this area. I was told there are about 600 in the area who are practicing Krishna consciousness, who are connected with the temple and practicing Krishna.
Мне говорили, что области около 600
Which is more than 20 years ago. Maybe if there was a bigger temple, then there'd be more people coming, because if they know there's not much space, they don't come. I don't know. It may be also that there are different programs going on in different houses throughout the city. So things are increasing, but it's not fast enough. It's never fast enough. Even if our preaching had expanded 20 times more, still it wouldn't be fast enough.
How can we become inspired for intense devotional service?
Were you in the camp just now? Yeah, well, okay, it's one of those how-to questions. As I said, there are so many how-to questions. How to be sincere, how to be determined, how to be inspired, how to control the senses, how to. And there's a generic answer to all of them, which is to associate with devotees who have those qualities and to apply ourselves seriously to the process of Krishna consciousness. And then the question will come, well, how do you apply yourself seriously? Well, you've got to make some decision at some point in your life, what you're doing with it. It's a self-inspiring process. If we apply ourselves to it, we'll be inspired, because Krishna is inspiring. Unlike in the material sense, that Nikola Tesla was trying to find some way to make energy that doesn't need renewal. You just generate energy out of nothing. But unsuccessfully. You always have to burn some fuel or do something. You have to take something to make energy, and then something else becomes diminished. But Krishna is inexhaustible. So if we link with Krishna, we link to an inexhaustible supply of energy. If you get plugged in, you're connected. It's the same thing. You know what to do, you have to do it. You have the medicine, you have the instructions from the doctor, and now you have to do it. Then you'll get the effect. It's up to you. Okay, let's have one from the mataji.
Один вопрос от Матаджи.
Matrimando.
Please give me some recommendation. How would I choose the spiritual master, my master? I can't do it.
The topic of selecting someone to approach for initiation I've covered that in my book, this Beginner's Guide to Krishna Consciousness. The basic point is that they should be what Srila Prabhupada called a transparent via medium. They transmit the message without change. At the same time making it relevant to the present recipients. Shastra gives two main points, main guidelines. You know what Shastra means? Okay. So the 2 points are Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. We should be learned in Vedic knowledge by having properly heard from a proper source, and should be fixed in spiritual. Brahmanishtam should be fixed in the spiritual platform, or minimally have firm faith in that. Simply put, a faithful follower of Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes I become a bit concerned when I hear about choosing a spiritual master.
Become concerned for you?
I become a little concerned with that phrase. I would think it's more a matter of praying to Krishna for, please reveal to me where I have to go for my ultimate benefit. We are supposed to use our intelligence based on some primary knowledge in the matter of approaching a spiritual master. Our intelligence in the matter of approaching a spiritual master, at least some, based on primary knowledge. We should have some idea of what a bona fide spiritual master is. Otherwise it's like going into an electrical shop and asking for potatoes. You should have a basic idea of what you're looking for and where to find it. But you can't really choose a spiritual master. I've chosen you as my spiritual master, now you must initiate me. It's not like that. Okay, one more question. Let's take one more from the ladies so I don't get accused of misogyny. One other hand I saw going up. Well, anyway, I'm already accused of misogyny.
Хотя любого могут.
Okay, there's a very firm hand.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please explain how can Mataji distribute books so that it would be properly according to Varna-ashrama dharma and according to your instructions so that you would be pleased.
I'm just looking, we've got 1 minute left. Seems like a bit of a dichotomy, doesn't it? If you're living in the city, you can go for book distribution. Don't go alone. Family book distribution is very good. If husband, wife and children go together, it's often very appealing. Okay, that's all.
Хорошо.
Can't tell you more because there's no more time. Hare Krishna.